Good morning, class. In the previous lesson, we were learning about sedimentation, that it is a process in which insoluble solids like mud, sand pebbles, etc. are separated from the liquid. We were also learning about decantation is the process of taking out the clear liquid from the top. And we also learned about an important process, that is filtration. It is the process of separating insoluble solids by passing the liquid through pores. Now class, today we are going to learn about separation of liquids from soluble solids. There are two ways of removing soluble solids from liquids. First one is evaporation and the second one is decantation. Evaporation and decantation. So let us understand what is an evaporation. Evaporation can generally be defined as a process by which a liquid or solid is transformed into vapor or vapor state. An example of evaporation is the melting of a cube of ice. So a best example of evaporation would be in daily life, all right, our daily life experiences now, day-to-day life. Evaporation quite often. So our daily lives experiences evaporation quite often. For instance, when one performs strenuous activities or feels hot, their body produces heat sweat. Similarly, the sweat occurring on our skins gets its energy from the body, which eventually evaporates. So best example in day-to-day life would be exercise. Next now we have is distillation. Distillation is a process of separating a pure liquid from a mixture of liquids. This is done in laboratory by changing a liquid into its vapor form and then condensing the vapor to get the pure form of liquid. So understand the distillation process now. One example of a simple distillation mixture is separating salt water to create pure water and salt. During the distillation process, the water starts to evaporate and that vapor then cools down to form pure water. The pure water is collected in a second container. Once the distillation process has completed, salt is left behind in the original container that previously held the salt water. So in today's lesson we have learned about separation of liquids from soluble solids, and there are two ways, that is evaporation and decantation. Evaporation means a process by which liquid or solid is transformed into vapor state. This example would be sweat. When we do a lot of exercise, we sweat. Next one is distillation. It is a process of separating a pure liquid from a mixture of liquids. Example would be separating salt water to create pure water and salt. During this process, the water starts to evaporate and the vapor then cools down to form a pure water. The pure water is collected in a second container. Once the distillation process has completed, salt is left behind in the original container that previously held the salt water. So today's assignment would be, what is evaporation? Explain the process in detail. What is distillation? Draw a level diagram for the process of distillation. So class, this is all we'll be learning for today.